everybody. Welcome to my public service announcement. And this public service announcement is for all you hillbillies and home gamers and car builders that don't get paid and wants to, they have to buy their own tools, and that's basically going to be using them all the time. And you want something to last. And so what I'm going to do is right here, this is my MV210 or 210 MVP Hobart welder. I used this to replace this. This was an SP100 Lincoln. Worked forever. Great until the board fried. Or it didn't fry. What happened was I think I tracked it down to a couple of transistors, but I never modified it. I just went and bought another one, But I wanted to buy one with capabilities that I really... There are capabilities in this that I really like, and there is things in it. I should have bought the one before it. That doesn't need a spool gun because you know what? I bought a TIG welder to do aluminum. I don't need a spool gun. So if I had to do it over again, I think it's the 180 MVP. I'm not really sure. It's been so long since I was shopping around for welders, but this thing there's some really good points to this thing, and there's some real points on here that they really chinsed out, and I want to show you that, and I want you to be aware of that. First things first, I'm going to show you one of the things on the controls that I really don't like from the Lincoln to the Hobart. And the reason why is because, as someone who welds up tractor buckets and rusty old filing cabinets into cars, it's kind of important to me, but let me show you what it is anyway, and just so you can make a decision. It might not be affecting you. But let me bring you over here. Let me show you the controls first. Then we're going to get on to the other peripherals on the external portion of it, and then we'll go internally, and I'll show you the reason why I'm sending it back for warranty. All right, let me bring the camera over and show you this. The first set of controls that I want to show you, this doesn't do as well as the Lincoln, is this. This right here is the voltage. It goes 1 to 7. And what it is you hear that clicking? Let me show you on the Lincoln what the Lincoln does. Here on the Lincoln, the SP100, if you take a look at this thing, hear that? It doesn't click. It's pretty much, you can adjust it just enough, or like in between B and C. You can just adjust it just like that, and it's no problem. Unlike the Hobart. You're probably asking, why is that important? Well, when you're welding different thickness metals or rusty metals, and you just need to pull back the arc flows just enough because your wire speed is just good, but you just want to pull back the arc just a little bit, you can bring it back just a little bit. You can't on the Hobart because the Hobart clicks, and then you have to adjust the wire speed and all that to try and make it balance it out. That is the bad part. Don't worry about this button because I smashed it. That's what you get when you run into a bench. But it works nice. It worked great at that time. And I just wanted to let you know this is a really big thing for me, doing so many varying metals of rustiness and thickness and trying to put two panels together. I like this so much better than the Hobart. Now, let me go to the next thing, is the gun. Here is the gun for the Hobart. What it is, and you're probably asking, well, what's wrong with that? It looks just like the Lincoln. Well, yeah, it does, and it feels just like it. It actually does. In the hand, it feels really nice. The problem is with the tip, the shroud. If you see this, it's a spring clip right here. This is where the tip screws in. And what this does is it sits in here like that, and by just compression-wise or by tension-wise. If you take a look at this right here, the sheath, on here, if you push this in, this thing bunches up on top, and it's open down at the bottom. Now, one thing I've been noticing with this gun is that you get tons of slag all the way through here. And it's really annoying because you have to take it out so many times, which I didn't really run into with the Lincoln. I think I know why. I'll show you here in a second. But what also is that with this thing bunching up on top and this thing, being a gap, this thing will push it forward when you're welding, when it's heated up, and take a look. It won't center. Now that it's not centered, what happens is the gas coverage isn't even or uniform around it. and your welds will definitely reflect that. Now, you're probably saying, well, what's so good with the Lincoln gun? The Lincoln gun, take a look at this. There's no rubber sheeting right here, to seal the back end. You want to know why? It unscrews. So, with the threads right here and this threaded, you put it on like that, and it's a mechanical lock on this. So the coverage is really nice all the way around. This thing doesn't have a tip in it, but the coverage around the weld is so much better. And that's just one of the few things that I really like about the Lincoln. And I'm very disappointed with the Hobart. Now let's go on to one more thing on the external portion that is good, which is better than the Lincoln, but they kind of cheaped out. Let me show you. Here is the last thing on the external portion of this welder that I think they chinched out on, and it's this gauge right here. This gauge kind of broke when, it didn't break, but let me show you what it does. I am going to loosen up the feed line. As you can see, it's still showing about, what is it, 10 cubic feet of flow. So this gauge was fault, and this thing happened right after I got it. And I just like, okay, well, what I did was I just minus 10 wherever I put the gauge up here, and hoping for the best. But that is not the, I mean, I like having an adjustable regulator. And anybody who has a welder that doesn't have one of these, if your regulator fails, buy one of these, because then you can adjust your gas to your actual welding project, and it's so much better. Trust me, just do that. All right, but the last thing is what I'm returning this thing for. Let me show you what it is, because I did a fix to it, and then because what they told me is going to be I probably won't get it back. The guy from Hobart said you'll get it back in a week. The guys from the place I have to bring it to who fix them, for Hobart, they said probably 2 months. So I don't know who to believe, but I'm going to tell you right now, I have to do it now, and I have to just that's the reason why I'm going to try and fix my Lincoln as a backup, but there you go. But let me show you the reason why I am bringing this thing back or sending it back for warranty work. This right here is the fan that cools everything. Now, you see this clamp right here? This clamp came off, I don't know, I think it came off an Alpha Male. Because I used this to clamp this fan in, because what happened was there was a cheapo, chinsy little, thing of tin around here, or a piece of steel around here that clamps this, which press fitted to the actual shaft. They didn't use a nut. They didn't use a C-clip or a pin. They used a really chintzy clamp. So what I did first was I called the guys, and I said, I need the welder. I can't have it down for a long time. Can I just, epoxy it on, and then you guys can fix it? And they said, sure. Just give us a call back when you're ready to bring it in. So what I did was I put epoxy on it, let it dry overnight, came back, didn't work. Thing worked for about 5 minutes, and then it flew off. So then I had this clamp right here. This is one of the small ones that I believe it came off an Alfa Romeo, 1975 Alfetta. And I'm going to keep this clamp just in case, because if they put a new fan on here with that thing, it's going to fail again. That's the problem. It will fail if they put the same thing on there. So that is, the reason why I'm bringing it back. And I'm going to tell them about the gun. I'm going to tell them about the gauge. But yeah, let me put this all back together again, because I wanted to get this clamp off of here and show you what they did, because it's just a straight compression fitting onto here, which I thought was a really cheap thing. They should have put on with a bolt or a C-clip or a pin or something, anything other than just compression like that, because the clamp will break, or at least the chintzy one they had on there, looking at it, yeah, it'll break. I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere around here. But other than that, let me put this back together and we'll conclude this up. Well, in conclusion, is this a good welder? Yeah, it's a good welder. You know, except for the niggly things around, I would never be sending this thing back if it wasn't for the fan. And I think they really cheaped out on the fan. You know, I really dislike that because, you know, with that compression clip on the one they're going to install in this, guess what? 2.5 years later, it's going to break. You know, it's unless they do something different, it'll probably break. You know, that's why I took the hose clamp off. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to tape it and put it inside here for when it does break, yeah, and it's out of warranty, I can fix it. But other than that, yeah, I mean, it's a decent welder. You know, I bought this because of the environment that I'm in. You know, my barn is a very harsh environment. It's not open to the elements, but it's exactly like the elements because there's no heat or air conditioning or anything like that in here. But it's been a trooper, you know, and it's a transformer welder, so I know it's robust. I didn't want a solid state. That's the reason why I bought this Hobart, it's actually a Miller. But it's just like, because the ones I was looking at for the same price on Lincoln and Miller were solid state, and I didn't think they'd fare very well in this environment. You know, that's just personal. I don't think they would. But only time will tell. I think this thing's worked great, except for the small niggly things. If it wasn't for the fan, the gauge work around, the gun work around, it is what it is, you know? And I just want to let you know how much material I ran through this. Now, these are the receipts that I found going back 3 years. I use an 85 cubic foot bottle, you know, and I've run through these. I've added up, it's 1,100 cubic feet of argon through this. And the wire is about 74 pounds of wire. These are the receipts that I found. 74 pounds of wire through this. So it's not been not used. So it's run like a trooper. So other than that, I hope you got something out of this. I hope it works for you. I mean, honestly, if the one lower than this that does not have a spool gun would do 120 or 110 and 220, you know, convertible, I would have bought that instead. I would not have bought this because I have a TIG welder. That's the only thing. But other than that, thanks for showing up. I hope this helped out a little bit. You know, that's it. So now I got to box this thing up and bring it to where they're going to warranty it. And probably won't see it for a month and a half. All right. We'll talk to you again. Bye now.